Hello again, Jared Case here, curator of film exhibitions at the Dryden Theater and the George Eastman Museum, with another streaming recommendation for you, continuing our theme of holiday films you can watch at home with your family. Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol was published in 1843 in Great Britain. Since then, it has been adapted dozens, if not hundreds of times, not only for the stage, but also for film and television. As a matter of fact, the earliest versions on film of A Christmas Carol show up more than 100 years ago during the silent period in the first couple of decades of the 20th century. This means that there are several versions of the film for me to choose from when I'm doing programming for holiday series here at the Dryden. And I do like to include at least one version per year, since it is not only one of my favorite narratives in the English language, but it's also an evergreen story. It can be used not only at Christmas time, but at any point throughout the year and still have the same impact. But it can also be approached in many different ways, whether it's a text-accurate depiction setting the film in 19th century in London, or it can be updated to more modern times. One of the most effective adaptations, perhaps surprisingly, came out in 1992 as The Muppet Christmas Carol, directed by Brian Henson, son of Jim Henson. Of course, this film takes the Muppet characters that we're familiar with and casts them in roles that we are familiar with from Dickens' narrative. Kermit the Frog becomes Bob Cratchit, and that means that his wife is played by Miss Piggy. Gonzo becomes the narrator, or Charles Dickens, if you will, using some text from the novel itself to stitch together the scenes that they do have in the film. Fozzie the Bear actually plays Fozziwig, a nice little pun, as they go into the past and look at Scrooge's past work with what in the book is Fezziwig. The primary human actor in the film is Michael Caine playing Ebenezer Scrooge. And the film is really carried by Caine's performance. There's an old Hollywood adage that you should never work with children or animals, and I imagine the same is true of Muppets, as they have the ability to steal whatever scene that they're in. Caine in this film, however, does not play down to the tone of a Muppet movie. His performance of Scrooge is grounded in reality, from the beginning when he is a mean old miser, to the end when he goes through his changes, experiencing perhaps for the first time the sorrow and sadness that's been around him that he's simply been ignoring. Whether Caine was on set with the puppeteers as they were acting, or if it was just in pickup shots where they were getting his reaction, the emotion is there on Caine's face. He's a consummate actor, and what he brings to the film really grounds it in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect to find when you're watching frogs, pigs, bears, and other monsters performing this text. Now, there are a couple of different versions of the Muppet Christmas Carol. There was a song called When Love Is Gone that was sung by Belle, Scrooge's young love, before she walked away from him. That was cut from the theatrical version just before it came out over the objections of Brian Henson. This song was reincorporated into some of the VHS and DVD releases, but the version you will find on Disney Plus does not have it in there as it matches the theatrical version. It is, however, an extra on Disney Plus, so you can watch it separately from there. So, our version of A Christmas Carol this year is The Muppet Christmas Carol, which is streaming on Disney Plus if you have that subscription. It is for rent otherwise at some of your normal, not only DVD places, but also some of your digital places. That is our recommendation for today. We have one more holiday film recommendation, so please come back for that and come back for some other recommendations.